I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This time, Rachel, will you do the roll call? You're going to notice things have changed a little bit, the way we're proceeding on a couple of items, and we'll let you know as we go. Our new administrator has asked that to happen, and Rachel's got the notes there.
So Tom Hill,
Yes, here.
Dave Zera,
Here.
Ken Sullivan,
Here.
Dave Lindros,
Here.
Randy, who is absent, or Randy Van Buren, who is absent, and alternate Dale Lewis.
Here.
Okay, let the minutes show the people that are here. Mandy, you want to swear everyone in at once again, or are we doing it
For
individually?
the record, I really do prefer it to do singular, because if this ever gets appealed, like we just gotta, cause sometimes we forget. Do you care if I do it in singular?
Oh,
They come up in.
however you want to do
Okay,
it.
okay.
All right, so as the cases come up, you'll want to swear them.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that then. We're going to start tonight with, this is case 2025-003 BZA. It's a continuation from February 11th. Rachel, if you'll read the application, please.
Okay. Applicant Mohammed Qatari submitted a conditional use application for property located at 1435 Menor Avenue. The request is for adding an additional propane cage, outdoor seating, sale of goods outside, water and washer fluid, and vending machine.
Okay, I find no error in the application that was submitted last month or this month. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? I understand that there's no one here.
Correct.
Okay. A couple questions for our zoning inspector. The things that we've asked him to do in the past, is he adhering to those, or is it a constant battle?
The U-Hauls have not been a problem. Typically, when they come on the property, they leave the property.
Okay.
I mean, looking at reasons for not being here today is it's his holiday this month for Ramadan. So I think his fasting, I believe, ends at 6:30 or at sundown. So in terms of not being here last month because of not being able to close, this month for religious reasons, but in the nature of, he said he's already gotten rid of one of the propane cages, so he wouldn't even be asking for that today. The seating outdoors has been an ongoing problem since the Lake County Fair. That's how long I've been working and agreeing with him on things. And then the sale of goods, those also went out at the same time. Vending machine, my belief is that there was a signed contract and that was probably negotiated in there. So the two things that would be, or the three things that would be up for you guys to either decide with or without him here would be yes or no on outdoor seating, and then limiting the pallet sales of washer fluid and water between the planters in the front, and then where you would like the vending machine versus floating in the middle of the parking lot, which I think has kind of moved multiple times. But the board is independent and for themselves. I don't know legally in terms of where it's at. People have been here speaking for the owner themselves in favor of it. I don't, that's.
Okay, well, it's pretty much been my policy since I've been chairman, and that's been quite a while, that we generally don't vote on anything if the representative is not here. So if someone would like to make a motion to continue this, and board members, you can vote however you feel. If you want to wait another month for him, he does have a religious holiday, and so we'll go, I guess we would go that route. If someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to continue case number 2025-0003 BZA until next month.
Oh, I'll second.
Okay, Rachel, motion's been made, second, call the roll.
Dave Zera,
Yes.
alternate Dale Lewis,
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
and Tom Hill.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, Rachel, if you would read case 2025-005 BZA.
Okay, applicant, Vocon Partners LLC submitted a conditional use application for property located at 2150 Menor Avenue. The request is to operate a drive-through in conjunction with a enclosed retailer.
Okay, I find no error in requiring a conditional use for any drive-through in our community here. So is there someone here who'd like to speak in favor of and kind of show us what you want to do here? I'd ask you to come forward, state your name and be sworn.
Eli, just press that button again.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name's Eli Crisafio with Vocon. Yes, it's a roughly 4,000 square foot retail facility for Amplify Dispensary.
I think before you proceed anymore, we're gonna
Yes.
have you spell.
Sorry,
Could you, well, before you state your first and last name, do you swear everything you're about to tell this board to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
yes,
And can you state your first and last name?
yes, Eli Crisafio.
And can you give an address?
This is at 2150 Mentor Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay. Just tell us what you wanna do.
Yeah, like I said, it's a roughly 4,000 square foot retail facility with 2 drive-through windows on the south side. And it's for Amplify Dispensary. It maintains the existing curb cuts on the site. There's about 41 parking spaces, 3 handicap.
Okay, now on your request, you've got the hours and everything you wanna do. None of this is gonna change. It's all as submitted.
Yes,
So hours of operation, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 8, Sunday, 10 to 5, correct?
that's correct.
And you say that requires 5 stacking spaces per window, but given the fact, just explain how this is gonna work at your facility. People aren't coming in, pulling up to a window like ordering a chicken sandwich and saying, I'll wait here for it. Just explain how this will work.
Yeah. Hey, Jude,
Same for you. Could you, do you swear to tell this board the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And what is your first and last name?
AJ Carabello,
And can you give the board an address?
2150 Menor Avenue. So to answer your question, Mr. Chairman, there will be no orders placed at the windows. All of these will be placed ahead of time via an online ordering system for pre-scheduled pickup. So when they schedule them, they actually have to select which time slot they're coming to pick those up.
Okay. Now, let's say someone's ordering something and they get their time slot and, okay, you have to be here between noon and 12:15.
Mhm.
What happens if they show up at 2 or 3 o'clock and there's someone else, it's someone else's time slot? I mean, they just wait, or is their order stacked up?
Correct. So inside the facility, we have all of those folks' bags. Will actually be there positioned at the window for those folks. So the folks inside the building won't be moving.
Okay.
We run drive-through at a location that we run in Columbus, and the way that we plan for that is we purposely don't overschedule. There's a set number of order slots through the day, because the last thing we want is to be a nuisance for the township. Or in Columbus, we actually operate in a shopping center with multiple other businesses and that are all operating throughout the day, and we have never had an issue in the parking lot. And that is actually one of the busiest stores in the state of Ohio.
Okay, you say you have a facility in Columbus. On an average day, like on a Monday, how many people would come through that drive-through?
Through the drive-through, 112.
That's your average, over 100 then?
Yep, and that's our number. Like, we don't schedule any more pickups
Oh,
than.
okay, that's the max you would schedule.
Correct.
There'll be no inside sales, or
No, there will still be inside sales. for folks who might, who know what they want, if they don't want to park and come in, they're able to place that order ahead of time. And there are no changes allowed through the drive-through, so it's truly a drive pickup. All the same requirements through the state are there, checking IDs for medical patients, checking cards, but there are no changes allowed.
When you have a person, they're supposed to show up at a certain time, 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
They get there a few minutes early or a few minutes late.
Mhm.
They go and park in a slot and wait until it's their turn. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, so their orders will typically be ready. So when folks are placing these orders, they usually place them overnight or well ahead of time. So when our staff gets in the morning, they're filling, first thing they do is they fill any pre-orders for the day.
Right.
So when they see it's a drive-through pre-order for, for 10 a.m., those are the ones they fill first. When they're done filling up they get a text notification and it goes in a bag by the window. So
Right.
what we found in our Columbus store is we're going to have those instances where folks show up outside of their time window. The bag's already there with the completed order. It takes less time for our folks to just ring out the person. The order's there. It's already ready.
So if they're out of order themselves, and number 1 comes in at, I don't know, number 3 slot, but number 3's in head of it, doesn't make any difference. You have everything ready to go, so you just do
Correct.
them out of order.
Correct. So,
Then they don't have to park and wait or, all right.
no.
Gotcha.
Do you do texting? Like somebody comes in and, hey, your order is ready, or prior to them getting there, do they get a text that their order is ready?
They do.
Okay.
You have 2 drive-through lanes, is that correct? But one of them says it's a bypass lane, and the
Mhm.
others, yeah, can you tell us just a little bit how that operates, how the flow of traffic through those 2 lanes?
Sure. So when they schedule the orders online, they're selecting for which window they're going to place it, and so inside the building, that's where their staff knows to put their bag.
Oh,
So when you look at the lane, we have the 2 drive. So if you're placing an order for a drive-through window 1, you're there. If somebody's at the second drive-through window, that bypass lane is there, so that if somebody's parked there at pickup lane 2 picking up their order, they're able to curve around and get out.
Anything else? Anyone else have any other questions?
About how many orders per hour is pretty normal for the drive-through?
Through the drive-through,
Yeah.
we do they're 15-minute intervals, and we alternate 4 orders in the first 15 minutes and 3 in the second. So in an hour, that would be 7, 14, 28 with 2 windows.
Okay.
Just a question, and maybe Sean can point it out. Could you give us like the flow? I'm trying to visualize the flow. Where's Route 20 at?
So,
Where's the traffic flow in this whole thing?
note where this curb cut is, okay?
Okay?
And then this curb cut that's here, it's a little bit further down because I'm zoomed in. There's gonna be signage here, it's one way only, and that's basically gonna hey, I'm gonna be in line to come here if we get this far back. The bypass is oh man, I messed up, I went to the wrong area, that allows them to still bypass, leave whichever necessarily way there. My understanding is the process is gonna be here to flow, and then once they leave the window, then they would at that point make a decision to go right or left, then to exit at either location. I'm gonna switch the map and show you where the curb cuts currently are at. So the curb cuts here, this curb cut would be what's proposed for on their property, and then the curb cut where they could then leave. So if this was the building shifted over, they would wrap around the building, pick up here, decide to leave out here, or decide to leave out the other side. That make sense or answer your question? So that's that curb cut, interconnectivity to Popeyes, and then to, back onto Menor Avenue here.
And on the Menor Avenue, can they go left as well as right, or is it
So-
right turn only? Or how?
Yeah, I mean,
What's
this
the
is gonna
idea?
be to be determined from ODOT, because ODOT's been kind of dragging the feet on the whole situation of whether right, in turn, out turn, left. And that would probably change even in the future as well, because there's development down the line that has not been submitted, that has nothing currently to do with the active owner of this property, but in the nature of like up top here for Gary Miller, his intentions are to have another building here with more interconnectivity, you know what I mean? So ODOT may change their mind in tonight. ODOT might change their mind in 2 months. Once the building's there or the next development comes and wanting that activity there.
What's the point in the interconnectivity with, I would think that people from Popeyes are gonna wanna,
So
as
we
many
want,
exits as they can get, they're gonna be using your exit to get.
I honestly don't think so, because when you look at Popeyes, people are gonna come into the right here. They're gonna be in line, ironically here to this dirt, which is almost like the building now, it's sitting there empty. They would then come here and then exit out to leave their property there. So the interconnectivity helps with limiting them making a left and then wanting to go to the new location and then exiting again left to then go somewhere else. So the best example would be this property here. So you go to Goodwill, which I go to at lunch, I then leave, I can go to B-Rocks, pick up a sandwich, and then leave. So instead of exiting, same thing with here. If I go to Aldi and then need to go pick up paint here, future development of something coming up next time is gonna be here, we're gonna require interconnectivity there. So it's all beneficial. It takes traffic off of Menor Avenue and helps with the flow. So the reason for this was Gary obviously lost the tenant, wanted to sell some land. Current owner did not want to buy all the land, but wants to develop small little storefronts back here, another thing here, and then it helps with like the flow of it. It's more of enclosed shoppability type situation. So when you look at their flow, that's why they have so many connections. And like I told the guys last night, this is like a piece of Play-Doh and it's just forever molding, and this is the best thing that we've landed on, like in terms of strippings on the side, and variances are very minimal.
And just to confirm, I know one of the requirements is there's at least 5 stackable spaces per lane for drive-through. So it looks, based on the building size, it looks like they meet that, but I just wanted to
Yeah,
confirm.
and so this is a unique too. So typical drive-through is, hey, I would like a number 2, Diet Coke, pull around, wait for your order. Here, there's no ordering, you have a set time, so it's kind of, it's unique in its own situation to where even I think when you, there's no little model of car here, but if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, you can probably get 4 more, 5 more cars stacked up along the back. I don't think they're gonna have 5 cars stacked at a time, to be honest. Just looking at this location as 1 pickup window, right? So they're stacking there in a busy place, probably maximum would hit 5 for a solo window. And doing my research on these type of locations and drive through, it's normally 1 window. And it's more wrapped around the building for that type.
Is that their facility in Columbus?
This is Columbus, correct?
Where is that in Columbus?
Yeah, North Hamilton Road, in the New Albany,
Near,
Guyana
near,
area.
near New Albany?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So are you going out on the, is it, New Albany Boulevard or Hamilton? Do you exit out onto Hamilton there? That's a very busy road.
Probably Thompson,
Correct.
because they probably cut out there and make the right and go
How
versus.
close are you to the Home Depot there?
Right, it's
Yeah.
right across Thompson.
Okay. I'm very familiar with that intersection. So you don't have any problems on that road with your flow of traffic? Okay. Anything else?
So just to confirm though, that there's no like outside speaker, no one's ordering at a window like Burger King or something like that.
Correct.
And and obviously from this view, it looks like it's the old school. I mean, they're wanting to be secure, so I mean, it's gonna be that old slide out like bank teller window, like where it pushes out, where it's gonna be
Like you're picking up a prescription at Walgreens.
basically, and like that window's probably thicker than we will ever imagine.
And are you taking payment there, or is they all paid in advance before their pickup?
Could be both. So if it is cash payment, it is cash payment. But there are cashless solutions that are out there now. So we actually are just launching curbside at a location in Bedford, and we're requiring cashless payment for that. And it's all done at the time they're ordering, so it's through the same website where they'd be placing the order for pickup. So we're going to encourage folks to go cashless as much as possible.
I'm assuming those are all monitored by video cameras, all those
Correct.
windows and lanes, okay. See them, okay.
Sean, have you had any feedback from the sheriff department at all that we should be aware of?
They haven't. They've had no issues with the other location, in terms of even like for like loitering and things like there. I mean, there was that one break-in originally when it first started, but I mean, for this high flow of traffic, I mean, if anything, they're going to benefit from the sheriff because they're typically sitting right here, anyways, from the past, patrols of my life, literally there. So I know where to speed and not speed in the township. So
So
And there's
where,
been no
where
comment.
was that we shouldn't speed?
right here, right across the street. They would have no. I mean, their comment would be like, "Just let us know when opening is." I mean, that would be basically it.
Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against? Would someone from the board like to make a motion, please? And remember, you have to include all the hours and everything in it.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we approve a conditional use permit for case 2025-0005-BZA with the conditions as listed on the permit, which I'll read. Hours of operation will be Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. In that there are sufficient, so at least five stackable spaces per drive-through lane. One, I have a question. So we have the ability, when we issue a conditional use permit, it's typically for a finite period of time, which could be anywhere from 1 to 5 years. So I have a question to you. I can make the motion for 5 years if that's typically what we could do. The board may or may not go with that. Okay, so for a term of 5 years.
Might I suggest, since this is sort of a newer operation for the township, maybe a shorter period, so we can evaluate if we are having any problems that need to be addressed on renewal. Maybe
Give a suggestion.
3 years.
3?
3?
That sounds fair to me.
Okay. So I'll amend that for 3-year operating term
Instead of 5.
instead of 5, 3.
Any additions? All right, the motion's been made. We need a second. Rachel, do you want to read it back first?
Okay, so hours of operation will be Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., with 5 stackable spaces per lane for a 3-year term.
Correct.
Okay. All right, motion's been made.
I'll second that motion.
Rachel, if you call the roll.
Okay, Dave Windros,
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
Dave Anzera,
Yes.
Tom Hill,
Yes.
and alternate Dale Lewis.
Yes,
Okay. When do you plan on starting this?
Soon. So they're waiting on a couple of things. I think they have to go through the counties still. But I mean, we've been probably working on this for 6 months, Eli. So as long as there's nothing from the township standpoint of holding it up, so however you see that.
Okay. Someone want to make a motion to expedite this?
I'll make a motion to journalize, case 2025-0005 BZA.
Second?
All right, motion's been made and seconded?
Okay, Tom Hill,
Yes.
Dave Windros,
Yes.
alternate Dale Lewis.
Yes,
Dave Zero,
Yes,
and Ken Sullivan.
Just so the applicant knows, what we just did is normally this doesn't become effective until the minutes are approved at our next meeting. By journalizing the entry, it becomes effective immediately. Okay. All right, moving on. Rachel, if you want to read 2025-006 BZA.
Okay, applicant Bocon Partners LLC submitted a variance application for property located at 2150 Menor Avenue. The request is to allow a 76% impervious surface of the property in violation of section 22.04D, which requires that maximum impervious surface is 7% in the B1 district. Another request is to allow a 0-foot parking lot setback in violation of section 29.10A. Setbacks from lot side lines 10 feet in the B1 district.
Okay, if I know error in our zoning inspector requiring variances here,
Staff would like to make a comment real fast. So I did require some changes, so when the agenda was made and typed out and I had worked with the developer and property owner to make some of those changes, so Mandy, I'm not sure how the numbers will change, or ultimately they're still in violation, but the percentages are less. Does that make sense? So there was a 0-foot setback. Now we're basically asking for 3.5 feet. Does that make sense? So on the original plans that you guys do not have, because that's why the packets were a little bit delayed, was because I put in a request for it. There was the driveway that was all the way past the property line, and we got it shifted down. So instead of a 0 setback, they're literally asking, they did not meet 10 feet, but they're going 6.5 feet. So the variance would be for 3.5 feet. Does that make sense?
Is that the only change?
With that shift, originally the property had started at 96% impervious surface. We worked it down to 74, or we worked it down to 68, and then I made the shift. They wouldn't have even needed the variance. Then they were at 76, and we did one more shift, so now we're down to 74%. So we're getting closer to the 70% mark. So I apologize, but in terms, like I said, this piece of Play-Doh has forever. Them asking for the variances, they still need 2 variances. It's just they're shrinking down.
we could make it no more than 70, or no greater than 76%, and that would cover all your variables.
Correct, in case something changes in the end. So if you guys are comfortable with giving them the 76, and they're dropping from 96 to 74.
Mandy, do we need to make these changes in the request?
Well, I mean, if you, let's say you were to grant these variances, then what they're asking to do would be permitted, right? Because it's less than 76% and it's more of a setback
All right,
than the
so
0 foot.
You're suggesting we vote on it the way it is?
Well, I am suggesting that because of the public notice requirements. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
you know, but, and if they choose to do it as they've discussed,
Originally, right.
They're covered, just like
fine.
Mr. Lewis
Yeah.
has said. Okay, so we don't want to really change the verbiage. of-
Right.
No,
Okay.
we're-
But make a note that it's going to be less. with the zoning inspector.
Well, and you guys are always able to, I guess their application can't necessarily be changed, but just like anything that comes before you guys, you are allowed to amend it to what you want to approve. But you're only granting,
Yeah.
you're granting a variance or you're not, right? So
Yes.
like that's basically the gist of it.
Mhm.
And you're able to put certain, changes to their application,
As long as we're more restrictive, then you don't have to publicly.
right?
Yeah, as long as we're, okay.
But if you approve it as they've applied, they can still make these changes, cause they're more restrictive than what you'd be granting them a variance for.
I'd feel better if the board just, if we change the numbers when we make the variance.
Change it to 74.
Change it to 74 and 3.5 setback. Okay.
Is it
So when
74?
we make the motion, we'll do that.
I'm sorry, is it 74 or no greater than 76? Does it matter?
But you
Not
would
to me.
do that
No.
on your motion for
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah, when you make the motion. However you wanna,
Yeah.
whoever makes the
Yeah,
motion, either
okay.
one will cover it.
Cause as the building sits in what you're looking at today, it sits at 74.3.
It's
Okay.
what, 74.3?
74.3.
And I'm assuming that this has all been considered through the approval of the site plan. Soil and water has been involved in this and everything else for runoff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
we're not
say-
engineers here.
No,
Just
yeah, if anything, it's, yes, so.
if the site plan has been approved as submitted, we're kind of just rubber stamping it, I would say.
Conditioned upon this board's approval of
Yes.
the variance.
Wouldn't that be something?
Mhm.
All right, is there, again, does someone want to just step up and say what you're trying to do real quickly?
Sure.
So you,
You guys.
I'm gonna swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to this board?
Yes.
And what is your first and last name?
Michael Elman,
And an address for the board?
2150 Menor Avenue.
all right, just go ahead and tell us what you're looking to do here real quick.
So yeah, like Sean said, it was the existing site's at 96% impervious, so we cut that down a lot, got it down to 74.3%. Yeah, you can see it's all parking and building right there. But we got the 10-foot minimum on all the sides except the one we need the variance for. So plenty of green in there. And yeah, I think we've done a couple different layouts, and I think this one's the best one.
It's got to look better than what's been there for the last number of
Exactly.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Mike?
I have a question, it's for Mike or for our zoning inspector. So is the request to allow a 3.5 foot parking lot setback? Or is it 6.5 feet? I just
So,
wanna-
the variance, we require a 10-foot setback.
Right.
They're giving us 6.5.
Right,
So the variance is, they need 3.5 feet.
3.5. okay.
3.5 foot
Okay.
variance, yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that's basically what they're asking
Okay.
to give, since,
But the way this is written though is you would be saying allow a 6.5 foot parking lot setback.
correct, so in your verbiage, so when you say we would approve variance for a 6.5 foot setback instead of a 3.5, they don't wanna lose any more.
Yeah, okay. All right, anything else? Anyone to speak against the request? Any other questions from the board? Would someone like to make a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve 2025-0006-BZA with the following conditions of no greater than 74.3% impervious surface with and the second condition would be a 6.5 foot setback.
Okay. Motion's been made.
I'll second.
Rachel, would you like to?
Okay,
Call the roll.
so the conditions are, no greater than a 74.3% impervious surface and 6.5 foot setback, or 6.5 foot setback. Alternate Dale Lewis,
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Tom Hill,
Yes.
and Dave Zera.
Yes.
Did someone second that?
Yeah.
Dave
did.
Zera.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Okay, and again, I think this is something we want to get started on, so I would like to, if someone would like to entertain a motion to journalize this decision.
I'll make a motion to journalize, BZA case 2025-0006.
I'll second.
Okay, Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
Dave Zera,
Yes.
alternate Dale Lewis,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
and Tom Hill.
Yes. Okay, gentlemen. That concludes the public hearing, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
I'll move that we close public hearing.
Second.
Okay,
You're-
Tom,
I'm telling them they're welcome to go if they want to.
thank you guys.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Take care.
You don't have quite a moment.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say that out loud again. Tom Hill,
Yes.
alternate Dale Lewis.
Yes.
Dave Lindros.
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
and Dave Zera.
Yes.
Okay, now we're gonna open the regular meeting, and there's been a change. Our administrator has asked us to change the way we run the meeting a little bit. As far as the acknowledgements of the minutes, if somebody was not present and they have read the minutes, they can vote on, we don't really approve them, we just say there's no changes. So, but I am gonna let Mr. Enzera go through, since he handled the last meeting, and just do the formality of checking to see if anyone has any problems with the minutes.
Okay. But question for, so we have to actually vote on approval of the minutes, or could we just ask for any questions on the minutes?
You have to vote to approve. them.
Vote to approve.
Yeah, they changed that. It used
Yeah.
to be just,
Estimate, okay.
it's about the third time we've changed this, I think.
We'll get it right eventually. Okay, so, the minutes from our February 11th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting was sent out to each of us. If you haven't had a chance to read them, then we're all eligible to vote on them. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our February 11th meeting.
So moved.
One question. Was
Yes,
Mr. Hill approached to make sure he wanted to become the Board of Zoning Appeals Chairman again?
yes, I.
He was, yes, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Did we do that without you knowing?
So a motion's been made to accept the minutes. Someone second it?
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion on the motion? Would you call the roll, please, Rachel?
Okay, Dave Zera,
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
alternate Dale Lewis,
Yes.
Tom Hill,
Yes.
and Dave Lindros.
Yes.
Okay, good. Old business, none. New business, we've been asked to renew a conditional use permit. Does our secretary need to read this, or, okay. So it's from 2002. 0004, renewal of conditional permit for American Tower Corporation. Has there been any issue with that, Mr. Zoning Inspector, that you know of?
This one, there was one issue, but that was addressed because there was a contractor left a thing of bolts up top, and the bolts had fallen into the neighbor's yard, but it was a one-off situation, but no, there's no problems with it.
Okay. So if someone would like to make a motion to renew this, probably for 5 years.
I'll make the motion to renew 2025-0004 BZA for the renewal for the condition use permit 10 BZA-02 for a period of 5 years.
I'll second.
Okay, you said for a 5-year term?
Yes.
Okay, Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Tom Hill,
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
Yes.
David Zara,
Yes.
and alternate Dale Lewis.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything coming up that you know of for our next meeting? I will not be here until 8. Okay.
That is a good question. To be determined, to be
Okay.
honest. It's so hit or miss, to be honest. I could have somebody come in
Does
tomorrow.
Okay, does anybody have any issues with April 8th not being here? I want to make sure there's a quorum, because I won't be here,
I am most likely not going to be here.
okay?
I should be here.
I'll have to check, but I think I'm okay.
Okay, because if we find out between now and then that we're not going to have a quorum, we can reschedule this, can't we? Maybe the following week or something like that.
Yeah.
But let's assume that we'll keep it the 8th right now, but if we find out that there's not going to be a quorum, we will maybe reschedule for the following Tuesday.
Yeah, 'cause the only thing would be the continued case.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
We do have that one.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting though, would there be a way to verify that he would be here? Because this would be the 3rd meeting. Or is it where we just have to?
Yeah, I mean, what happens if that's the case? To where
So
he's the only.
Let's
We don't have to continue.
well,
you
That's
can
right.
do a motion to approve it and then.
you can a motion to approve or deny
Yeah,
at that
based-
point. I mean,
right.
because ultimately it's,
Yeah.
at least from a legal standing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So from that end of it.
Yes.
Now, in
You guys
terms
have been
of
very generous.
if there, I mean, if there's 2 not available, as long as you have 4,
Yeah.
you're gonna be okay. But if there's only 3, all 3 need to vote,
Yeah.
yes or no.
It's got to be
It's gotta be unanimous
Yeah.
for the 3.
The other thing we can do is, we made the motion to continue it to next month's meeting. What if we just continue it to the next scheduled meeting?
I mean, that would be fine.
So we're not calling a special meeting if he's the only one on there.
Plus, it'd probably be good for him to give him at least 60 days prep.
I'm not gonna
He's
confirm
doing what he wants anyway, isn't he?
it. So,
There you go.
Is there another holiday coming
He's
up?
got his vending machine
Yeah.
out.
He just,
so, yeah, I mean, that's,
I see his
I-
picnic tables around.
I do have
Machines out.
flyers if you
I saw-
gentlemen
I
wanted
saw
to
the tables
attend.
tonight driving there.
There's the Northeast Ohio Regional Planning and Zoning Workshop that will be held June 13th, which is Friday the 13th. If you would like to attend, just let me know. That is located in Niles, Ohio. The cost is $75 per head, so please let me know if you're attending. So we pay. And,
what time of day is that?
Typically, it starts at 9, probably ends at 3:30.
It's walleye season.
So I just want to make sure everybody's offered an opportunity for a training and learning experience.
Zoning
Okay.
Commission did say last night that they.
Yes, some of the zoning commission members would like,
Yes.
they did miss a couple opportunities in years past.
I went to one of those years and years and years ago and kept pinching myself to stay awake. It was down on Rockside Road. Okay, did we make a motion to adjourn this meeting? All right, so we're finished.
No, you didn't.
Oh, sorry, to vote. I thought you were asking if we needed to.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Sorry.
need a motion to adjourn the regular meeting.
I'll move that we adjourn our regular meeting.
Second.
We're voting to, like.
Adjourn.
We're gonna end this meeting. We're gonna end this right now.
Tom Hill,
Yes.
Ken Sullivan,
What happens if I vote no?
Then you have to stay here all night by yourself.
Stand in a corner.
Just do it.
Yes.
The minutes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
David
Like a
Zara,
filibuster?
Yes.
and alternate Dale Lewis.
Yes.
How does it feel to be known as alternate Dale Lewis?
I know.
Never thought of myself that way, but.
I thought you were the real Dale.
I was the
Lewis.
original. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, thank you.